again, and welcome back! In our last video, we began to explore a fascinating journal entry through the frameworks of the Magnus Archives and the Magnus Protocol. We started building a mythopoetic analysis, treating the narrator's experiences as a potential encounter with a metaphysical force. But today, we're going to take a sharp turn and dive much, much deeper. What happens when we introduce a comprehensive list of the narrator's specific composition of neurodivergent cognitive and systemic characteristics? Well, everything changes. The analysis is fundamentally transformed. The force we discussed is no longer some purely external, abstract power. Instead, it becomes something deeply internalized, something embodied within the narrator themselves. Their profound sense of isolation stops being a metaphysical curse and starts looking like the logical, almost inevitable outcome of their unique and hyper-perceptive internal ecology. This isn't just about seeing the world differently. It's about being wired to experience reality on a completely different frequency. So, let's explore this internal ecology, this idea of the force embodied. The list of traits we have provides a powerful, almost complete explanation for why the narrator perceives the world as fundamentally wrong and why they feel so utterly alone. It effectively reframes that metaphysical force, turning it into a manifestation of autistic and neurodivergent hypersensitivity to the very structure of reality itself. First, let's consider the narrator as a hyper-perceptive truth seeker. Their specific cognitive traits provide the very machinery for what we might call gnosis, or a direct, intuitive knowing. This makes the force less of a philosophical concept and more of a direct, raw, sensory experience. Think about it. Traits like ODHD, being a highly sensitive person, having hyperphantasia, and experiencing synesthesia, particularly conceptual and mirror touch types. These aren't just labels, they are the very foundation for that perception of the world being horribly wrong. The narrator isn't just thinking that the world is flawed on an intellectual level, they are physically and emotionally feeling it. Through mirror touch synesthesia, they feel the pain or sensations of others. With conceptual synesthesia, they might literally see ideas and social constructs as flawed, broken structures. And as a highly sensitive person, they're processing all the minute, energetic, and social details of their environment with a painful, overwhelming intensity. In this light, the force becomes the constant deafening roar of sensory and emotional noise, the raw data of reality that most neurotypical brains are expertly designed to filter out for the sake of function. The narrator doesn't have that filter, so they're left grappling with the unfiltered truth of it all. Then we add in spiderweb or nonlinear thinking and hyperneural. This explains the sheer complexity of the force as they experience it. The narrator's brain isn't built for straight lines. It's naturally wired for what we could call transmedic cognition. That's a mouthful, I know, but it means they are constantly, almost automatically, processing reality's deep, interconnected, and nonlinear dependencies. They see the flaw in the system because their brain constructs a reality map that is naturally multidimensional, far too complex for the simplified, linear model that most of society accepts and operates on. They see the code behind the matrix while everyone else is just looking at the screen. Now, let's layer on the second major element, the tragedy of unacknowledged masking. We know the narrator is in their late teens or mid-20s, a critical period of identity formation, and crucially, they are unaware of or in denial about key aspects of their identity, specifically being transgender and OD. This context transforms their isolation from a kind of philosophical despair into an acute, agonizing form of existential gap. They are being told, by the world and even by themselves, that their reality isn't real. The narrator laments what they call humanity's waking dream, but here's the profound irony. They themselves are trapped in a dream of denial. They're in denial about their own gender identity and neurotype. The fantasy version of reality they accuse others of inhabiting is, in fact, the neurotypical and cis-normative social script that they are desperately and unsuccessfully trying to follow. They're trying to play a role they were never cast for, using a script written in a language they don't natively speak when they write about their inability to feel the most fundamental senses. This isn't just poetic language. It speaks directly to the profound emotional disconnection and depersonalization that comes from heavy masking and gender dysphoria. It's the feeling of being a pilot in a body that doesn't quite feel like your own, going through the motions of an emotional life that feels hollow and performed. This also recontextualizes their deep loss of trust. They write that they can't trust others because everything they know is perverted by the very nature of their experienced reality. From the outside, this might sound paranoid, but from the inside, from the perspective of a neurodivergent person, it's a deeply justified distrust. They realize that the rules of social interaction, emotional display, and communication are constantly shifting, fluid, and often, frankly, dishonest. Their spiderweb thinking allows them to see the seams, the inconsistencies, and the unspoken subtext in every interaction, making it nearly impossible to trust the surface-level reality presented to them. Finally, and perhaps most radically, we have to account for the fact that the narrator is part of a polyfragmented, highly co-conscious plural system. This completely revolutionizes our understanding of the line, the only one who seems capable of perceiving this force. It's not a single individual who is the sole perceiver, it's the system as a whole. The system itself is the archive, the lonely observer. With multiple thought streams running concurrently and that capacity for metacognition, the perception of the force is constantly and perpetually confirmed by an internal consensus. There's always someone else inside who is also seeing it, feeling it, and validating it. The journal entry, therefore, isn't the work of one person. It becomes a collaborative, even if subconscious, effort by the entire system to articulate a shared, systemic truth. And consider the line about sense, cross-linking, varying, depending on who is active. This suggests that the very form the force takes, its specific flavor of wrongness, depends on which alter is fronting or closest to the front. Each alter, with their own unique neurological profile and trauma history, might experience the force differently. For one alter, it might manifest as the pure, visceral, mirror-touch suffering of the flesh. For another, it could be the incoherent, shifting visual chaos of the spiral. And for yet another, it might feel like the crushing weight of oppressive social expectations, a perfect echo of the lonely or the web. This brings us to the ultimate question posed in the journal: how do you connect? With this new understanding, the answer is already there. Connection is already achieved internally. The system's very existence is a state of profound connection through co-consciousness. Therefore, the narrator's search for external human connection isn't just about finding a friend or a partner. It's a search for an external mirror of their own internal reality. They are seeking a relationship where the full, multi-layered, complex, and sometimes terrifying truth of their reality can be mutually acknowledged without judgment or disbelief. That fleeting communion they find in shared pain isn't just a simple coping mechanism. It's a systemic, desperate need to momentarily touch another being with the same realness and complexity that exists inside them all the time. It's a moment of seeing and being seen in full resolution, before the other person's dream state filter kicks back in, pushing the connection away and returning the system to its state of profound, misunderstood isolation. By incorporating these traits, we move beyond a simple literary analysis. The journal becomes a raw, powerful testament to the experience of being neurodivergent, plural, and trans in a world not built for you. The force is real, but its source isn't supernatural in the typical sense of the word. It is the friction between a uniquely wired consciousness and a standardized reality. We appreciate y'all so much for joining us on this deeper dive. If this resonated with you, we'll feel you on the flip side.